Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sunday Coffee. It's not Sunday. I was busy yesterday. Oh, but I do have the day off, so I figured why not? You know, it's kind of tradition on like Labor Day and Memorial Day that I do it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Oh, man, got a decent amount of comments from the last 2 weeks. I'm probably just going to go through those because it's looking like there's over 100 of them. Probably not going to get to like the live stream comments that were left. But yeah, so now it's going to be a fun time, everybody. What's going on? Johnny Douglas, I should be barbecuing. I don't have anything to barbecue is the thing. So, and I would not barbecue today because for me, barbecuing is not just firing up a gas grill and taking 10 minutes to cook something. If I barbecue something, it's literally like a 14-hour long, like, yeah. And I don't, and I've done that the day before I've had to go back to work, and then I've gone back to work, and I'm like, I need sleep. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? I'm going to read some of your comments because that's what we do here. So thank you all so much. And if you guys like hanging out here and you guys like what goes on in this show, do me a favor, share the show because that's the best way to get it out there. Click the share button and then be like, hey, this dude's live. He reads your comments. If you commented, he reads them. You should do that. You should absolutely do that. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is been a lazy weekend. I also got a couple of videos that I'm going to record today, too. Record and try to get some editing done on them. I got DaVinci Resolve lately, the free version, and so the free version definitely doesn't have like what my old editing software had, which is fine. It has a lot, but there are just certain things that, and not only that, but the software runs a little differently. But overall, I mean, it's a pretty good program. I can absolutely see why it's like the #1 program out there. So that's awesome. Sorry, got to get my phone plugged in here so that way it stays charged. But yeah, I want to say thank you so much to Maji Chan for the $8 super chat. I think she's like, hey, this is for your wife. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you, Maji Chan. So, oh, good Lord. Skunks Workshop, what's going on? Hey. Everybody who's here already. We got A.S. Bruner. What's going on? I think Creative Welshman said hi earlier, but it's hidden in the chat somewhere. What's going on, A.S. Bruner? We got Crimson Law, Devil's Air, Evely Music, A.C. Pritchard, Johnny Douglas. What's going on? Animation Overload. What's going on? Liu. It's good to see you. Sassy77, Skunks Workshop. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully it'll be a nice lazy day stream. Like I said, just a lot of comments to go through and read this week. So, yeah, all right. This video did not do well at all. Like, at all. I don't even think it did well in the analytics. Like, I don't even think it got, like, yeah. Didn't really get a whole lot of impressions. The click-through rate was good, though, so the people who did see it clicked on it. But, yeah, this definitely did not. But, yeah, it was like the culture war video. It was a rant video that I did. Fix your sword. No, I refuse. I refuse. It can be like that. It's not the only thing on that wall that's crooked. There's so much wrong with the wall right now. No. And the more you tell me to fix the sword, the more I'm not gonna fix the sword. So, yeah, that's how it is. It be like that. It be like that. Don't tell me what to do. Oh, good Lord. All right, culture war video. Like I said, this one did not do. That's why I don't do like a lot of. That's why I don't do a lot of clips. Right? I don't do a lot of clips on the channel. What was the average watch time of this video? Not very good. That's why. That's why. It's because people clicked on it, but they didn't watch it all the way through. Because clips on my channel, that's the one thing is a lot of people, it's really cool because a lot of people are like, dude, you got to clip this and put this on the channel. And I'm like, okay. Here's the thing that I have noticed about the big channels that do clips and the way that they work, right? One, a lot of the clips that are taken out of streams, you know, they've got a little bit more editing to them and things like that. And two, the clips that work are from live stream channels that are massive, right? And so they're clipping out segments of their live streams, putting them up, and they're they have a big enough name and a big enough following that people care about them. So, says the man who got a goat. Yeah, no. Yeah, but that was for my wife. Like, I'm not gonna fix the sword. Anyway, yeah. So that's like so if you put, and it's one thing I kind of wanted to test it to see if it worked, and I was fairly accurate in it. When it's like, oh, you got to put your face on the thumbnail, this, that, and the other. Nobody cares about a face on a thumbnail unless you actually have a following or like a video blew up, right? Because that's what gets the recognition, is because as videos grow and as things get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the more views that it gets, more people are like, oh, this has a lot of views, ergo must be good or must be interesting or must be something to garner my attention. When you have small channels like mine, it's like nobody cares about your face on the video because you're a small channel. And I can see the video views right here, and obviously nobody cares about your channel because you're tiny, right? So not only that, YouTube has been pushing a lot of like smaller content creators lately, and I've noticed that in my feed, based off of subjects and stuff like that I watch. I've tried clicking on a few of the channels, and the quality of channels my size is really bad. Like the audio quality is not there, and a lot of people, there's just a lack of enthusiasm, it seems, in the smaller channels. And so, yeah, I definitely, I mean, me personally, it's like, if you don't have a certain amount of views, I don't usually watch videos like that because for some reason, there's just lack of quality. Straight in the store. No, she's taking care of the animals right now. So anyway, so here's the clip that did absolutely abysmally on the channel. All right, I clipped it. It was me talking about like the 3 videos to do in order to do like culture war videos and stuff like that. So is it why what the hell, why did it resize that makes no sense. I don't understand. So weird. All right, hold on. And the chat isn't working because OBS is being abysmally dumb. Oh, God. Good Lord. So YouTube did an update a few weeks back, guys. Sorry, let me fix this so you guys can actually see your chats up here. We're going to hit OK. There we go. There we go. I need to get the background on it, so that way you guys can actually see what you're saying, but it'll be right there. Chat will be right there. Chat will be right there. Chat will be right there. All right. Anyway, so here we go. Okay. It's down to 1969. That's Tim Allen. It says, God bless Royce's rants, or Royce rants. Hashtag Royce rants. Yeah. This can be the thing. We need to keep feeding him his rant material. It's sexy. Dare I say Meadworthy? See, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I apparently, I didn't break the stream, Tim Allen. Okay. I didn't do that. But anyway, no, yeah, it's like the rants. I don't know. Again, I would have to figure out how to do, like, here's the thing. I could have used so many other, like, YouTubers who kind of use this formula and put their faces on here. The thing is, though, is I don't dislike those guys. I even said in this rant, I'm like, some of the guys are really passionate about it. But you don't make a video like this and get as passionate as I do when you're talking about it or screaming about it, one of the two, and then put it up and make it feel like you're calling people out, right? Because that's the thing is, like, yeah, that style of video is not for me. It's it's absolutely like almost a script you can follow. So I put my face there, kind of knowing, I was like, yeah, this probably isn't going to perform, and it didn't. But but again, a lot of people who think of channels like that, like, what would I have to do? I'd have to put like the Geeks and Gamers faces up there, and then it's me attacking them, and I'm like, no. That's not what I was doing. I was ranting. I even said some people are just passionate about this style of video making and it works for them. It's not my thing, but it's how you can do it. And so, yeah, there's not really a way. And again, I don't want to bait the outrage farming like that. It's not what I want to do. But yeah. So the rant clips just don't do well on the channel. They just don't. Ragmar Brilliant says, winning the culture war is simple. Look for indie books. Buy indie books. Read indie books. Yes. You're not, I mean, possibly. I Mike has bad knees. I know who that is. Says, Roy, stop giving away the formula. I mean, it is, though. And the three, the three are, you find a tweet from some stupid developer, whether it's gaming or it's somebody in professional entertainment, right? Professional media entertainment. You find a bad tweet. Obviously, it's going to be getting a lot of attention that day. You say, oh my gosh, this is the stuff that they do all of the time. Look at this bad tweet. That gets attention to it. People comment on it. The next one that you do is you go in and you read all of the comments and you're like, oh my God, look at all of these comments that agree with me and don't agree with this person, which if you know anything about Twitter, it actually filters. They're changing that though. They're changing to newest so you can actually filter it so it's not just based off of what you interact with, which is kind of cool. So I do like that. But traditionally, it would filter all the comments that agree with you first, and then you'd have to scroll way down. And then the third video, once they start blocking a bunch of people, because inevitably it'll happen, because the block button exists, then you go on and say, oh, look, they're running away scared, right? Which, no, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Destiny cannot be bisected. Wait, what? Maybe the wig is malfunctioning, possibly. But yeah. Which I think is hilarious. So what I absolutely love is the dichotomy of how online works, right? It's like, look, if you just don't, because I will hear streamers say this. They're like, look, if you just don't like what people are saying to you, you can literally just hit the block button. You can just block people or mute them. Like, it's that easy. Like, the tools are there. If you don't want, if you don't want to see bad things on the internet, you can literally just mute the people who are saying bad things to you. It's not that hard. And then they go on stream and they're like, look at this guy blocking and muting everybody. They're obviously afraid. And it's like, okay, which one is it? Which one? Which way, Western man? Are you allowed to block people who are saying gnarly stuff to you, or are you not? Like, it's freaking hilarious. So anyway, author John A. Douglas says, time to start farming Royce for outrage clicks. There are people who have done that, and their channels don't blow up because I'm not a massive name. If I would understand if I had like 10,000 or more subscribers or I even had like a larger audience and people wanted to outrage farm over me, like I would be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, they're smaller than but some of the channels who've done it to me are larger channels than me. And I'm like, okay, well, take some no name. I don't understand what lore you guys are doing right now. If only creators could mute criticism. Also Brazil. Yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it? Maji Chan says, I missed the rants. All right. This summer was really, really busy. As we start getting into winter time and cold weather and me wanting to do a lot less outside, the rants I will be live streaming a lot more, but I had a lot that I had to get done this summer. I'm trying to restore a trailer right now, so that way I have a utility trailer to haul things around with. But yeah, it's brand new. What's brand new? Creative Welshman, man, I need to get on with my topic video. The Xbox problem. People are blind to the BS of the management in charge of the Xbox brand, and it's killing competition in the console space. No, they are not, Creative Welshman. If you think that, you are limiting yourself on YouTube. So here's one of the things too, is everybody lost their crap the other day. Well, not lost their crap, but people were like, we don't understand Asmongold. He's a filthy human being. And I'm like, guys, if you want, Asmongold does one thing very well, and it's he reacts to like every video out there that just is ever made. It's ridiculous. And here's the thing, he watches a ton of videos that from channels that cover all of this stuff. So I would say this, Asmongold is a really great way to kind of find new channels that you want to interact with to find out information of this. Creative Welshman, if you say that the Xbox problem, people are blind to it, you are definitely, like, you're not looking in the right spots on the internet. And I would say this, if you think that you have a great idea for a video, type it in on YouTube. and see what other people are saying about it. Like that's like the videos that I do really well with when it comes to like titling and thumbnails. It's when I literally type in the like what I'm going to do a video topic about and, you know, use kind of what was there before. Right. But yeah, the Xbox problem, people are not blind to it at all. Most people who are in the gaming space, who are gaming nerds, absolutely understand what's going on with Microsoft. So yeah, thanks for giving me a template to follow, Royce. I'll be sure to make full use of it for my upcoming videos. See, there you go. There you go. It's a 3 video thing, right? It's Trippy Souls. It's 3 is a magic number. Yeah, it's interesting how it kind of works. That it's always 3, and I don't know why. All right, why does it glitch out like that? OBS is being weird lately. All right. I really need to create a song tells us Royce of the Crooked Blade. Well, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna fix the sword. Like the funny thing is it's been like that for a long time. Nobody said a word about it until Shad said, or Shad or Mike. It was on one of Shadiversity's streams. So, but yes. So, oh good Lord, you guys didn't notice. DCC, what's going on? Hey Joseph Peck, how you guys doing? Yeah, that was, like I said, it's that video there. The rant videos, the clip videos don't do well. Because again, and especially me being a small streamer or small YouTuber, small creator, like nobody cares about small creators. Once you start, it comes in waves. People will start to care more about you as your channel grows. And yeah, it's just a thing. That is a thing. So, and then I did this one here. This one did abysmally as well. This one did terribly. The gamers are unattractive. Like it was, which was weird because like sometimes I'll get like 2 in a row that do really well, and then I'll get 2. The weird thing was though is this one had a ridiculously high click-through rate for the channel. So people who did care about this topic really like to watch it, or would really wanted to click on it. But as far as like the average watch time was concerned, people didn't want to. What was the average watch time? Oh yeah. So that's part of the reason that like the watch time was down. So people clicked on it, they watched it, they didn't like the video. They watched part of it, didn't like the video, and then they clicked off. And that's all of that information is stuff that I tell you guys because it's stuff that I'm actively learning and trying to do well at. So, all right, let's go to newest here. Okay. This is the Gamers Are Unattractive video. So, for those of you who are unaware, last week before, something of that nature, I don't remember. Oh, there's just a lot of replies here. Okay, not necessarily a ton of. It's been unearthed, the Sword of Fortune. What the fuck? You guys are weird. No, I've got like 4 levels. I'm not gonna fix the sword. I might actually make it more crooked. Maybe that's what I'll do. Like I will spend the time, effort, and energy to make it more crooked. Right? That'd be yeah. Maybe I'll do that. It would take me a lot less energy to fix it, but now you guys are like, fix the sword. I'm gonna make it worse. That's what I'm going to go do. I'm gonna make it worse. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I guess Liz Wheeler. I'm not really sure who she's for. She is. I have noticed that conservative commentators, especially the females, they're all blonde, and it's like a flavor of the week thing with them. It's like you get a blonde conservative commentator that's usually popular for about a year or so, and then they fall off because of a new blonde that they replace her with. Remember when Tommy Lahren was everywhere, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Tommy Lahren!" Remember that? And then Laura something or other. Don't remember Laura. Anyway, that one. And yeah, so the new blonde, I guess her name is Liz Wheeler, and people are like, no, she's massive. And how do you not know who she is? I'm like, because I don't care about, like, there are very, very few conservative commentators that I will still listen to today. So, and that's probably just because I listened to them back in the day and I still somewhat respect them, but you know how that be. She's Brat. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I've never interacted with her before. For every stream you're on. Shad would just be like, why is it getting worse? Oh, God. And the YouTube chat just disappeared? There we go. What? Why? Why? All right. Drag Tungsten says, yeah, no one cares what she thinks. You would think that, but there are millions of people that follow her and probably a couple 100,000 people that watch her show. I would argue that there are plenty of people who care what she thinks. So, make it the bland. Oh, God. The sword really bothers you guys, doesn't it? Your mom 31st, but gamers are unattractive, LOL. This guy, I know, Henry Cavill is such a hideous failure. Please note the hint of sorry. I think it's hilarious that they're like, gamers are unattractive, and it's like, it is the #1 entertainment medium in the world. Like, by a landslide. It's not even a little bit. If you look up, I think, as I have the metrics for as of 2022, I saw this post, and it was kind of a bait post, and I did or didn't realize it at the time. Which is weird, because I went and looked at the replies, and the guy, I don't know if he actually meant it as bait. I think he flip-flopped after people were like, yeah, you're dumb. Some people thought it was bait, but it was a bait post, and I was going to do it because it was like the Legend of Zelda. It was something like saying like Black Myth Wukong is this generation's like Legend of Zelda. And he was like, oh, it's adult Dark Souls. And so, yes, there was some facetiousness in there. So I retweeted it. I was like, this is a dumb take. And I went through and I looked at all the math and the percentage of money that Ocarina of Time made, as well as the developmental progress and the massive leaps forward that Ocarina of Time did compared to Black Myth Wukong. It's not even close. But I don't know if we're ever going to have another Ocarina of Time again. But anyway, all right, let's talk about the conservative blonde number 47. Hail the Lore. Hail the Lord says, the funny thing is the poll is fake and she thought it was legit and used it. That's the funniest part about all this. Ranting Ryan, what's going on? Nikolai Paulwell, what's up, dude? It's good to see you guys. Jersey, it's good to see you guys. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Share this and be like, hey, he's live reading our comments, the ones that you guys leave. Yeah, do that. Share this. That is the #1 thing that actually helps YouTube. I will say this. Sharing the video tells you, tells people that, they are so excited to watch this guy's stuff, they took it off of the platform and put it somewhere else. And I know a lot of people are like, don't leave the tracking thing. No, leave the tracking thing on there because it tells YouTube where you're sending it and where you're pulling audiences from. And that actually helps boost the channel in quite a big way. So do that. Also, touch the like button. Anyway, but it's still absolutely, can I say that word this early on in the stream? Ridiculous how people like her will dog on the average dude that plays video games. Conservative media is the absolute worst. Well, and again, the video game media is the number one entertainment medium in the world, and it's not even close. So to say that gamers are unattractive would be like saying that probably 90% of men out there, which actually, if you look at the data, like most women, like, yeah. That's getting into a deeper thing in the, yeah, dude, Royce, what? It is entirely possible that the issue comic book will be together by the beginning of next week. Let's have this. Hey, that's awesome, Ranting Ryan. Good. Wait, what am I missing? You guys are having conversations. Anyway, Rocky the Black Dragon, she's an imbecile. Yeah, I would say that, yes. She's a imbecile. No, it should be an imbecile. Oh, well, maybe you got auto-corrected. It's okay. My phone auto-corrects me, too. Actually, I just speak it into my phone. People get mad. They're like, Royce, dude, Why are you just, can you please correct it? No, I will not. Daniel's like, here, I fixed your tweet for you. I'm like, you didn't have to do that. My phone did it just fine. Everybody gets, yeah, it's funny. It's funny to watch people spurg out. It's great. Story time, kids. In 1999, when my wife, then girlfriend, started dating, she found out that played games to chill out. That I played games to chill out. She went and bought a PS1, several games, so that when I came to visit her house, we could play games together and chill. She didn't have to do that, but she did because she took an interest in one of my hobbies and became part of it. Throughout 21 years of marriage, we have consistently had video games in the house. She gets random fits to play games to the point of obsessions. Skies of Arcadia, Peggle 2. What the hell is that? Currently, she's obsessed with Power Washer Simulator. I have heard about that game. Some games I'm just like, really? That's the thing. That's okay. All right. Speech to text can get interesting with a slightly southern accent. I tend not to use it. That's the only thing I use. Speak to text. Put it out there. Or predictive text. That's why good morning, everyone. I just hit the button 3 times and then I hit send in the Discord. Like, hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm not gonna tell you, I've always hated texting. I've always hated it. Texting, typing, hate it. Can't stand it. All right, currently we have 3 kids, 2 boys, 1 girl. They all play video games, and sometimes we play video games together as a family. Yeah, I agree. Women like Liz view game through the lens of just the guys who play online shooters to the point of obsession, which is indicative of only one aspect of people who play video games. I don't even think it's that. I think their version of it was... I think they think gamers are the South Park parody of the guys who play WoW, right? I think that they genuinely believe that that's reality, right? Conservatives don't live in reality with most of their takes, you know. It's really it is hilarious to see how, yeah. So play your games. Take a break every now and then to touch some grass, and don't let anyone tell you you can and cannot enjoy what you can and cannot enjoy your free time. Yeah, I actually ended up playing Power World this weekend. I've been wanting to play that for a while. I played 5 or 6 hours of it through the whole weekend, which was really nice to do. So maybe a few more hours than that. I don't know. But that was also after I was working on the utility trailer and trying to clean it up. There's so much rust on this thing. Trying to clean it, run a rattle can over it, which it'll get another coat. I can't afford sandblasting. If I could afford somebody to just sandblast it for me, I would go that option. But I don't. So instead, what am I doing? And instead, I am just, using the angle grinder. Oh, well. A lovely name. Why are you taking some weirdo on the internet and claiming that all Republicans are like that? It sounds like you have a chip on your shoulder. So, Liz Wheeler decides that she's going to generalize all gamers as ugly. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing with Republicans to show how ridiculous the notion is, right? And the only way that I've really ever voted was Republican. And I actually vote for a lot more independents and libertarian candidates as I've gotten older. And anymore, the more I learn about it. But anyway, so... I generalize all Republicans for having stupid opinions in the beginning of a video to show how dumb the contrast is, right? To make my point there. And some people did not get the irony. I was being ironic. Oh, good Lord. I had to explain that. I was like, I see you didn't get the joke. She generalized all gamers, so in turn, I generalized all Republicans. Sad that I had to explain that. She's like, I thought you were serious. I'm like, Tianda, 1969. She is with Place TV, where the Big Rippa puts his 2 cents on political crap going on. She used to be on OAN. One American News. Okay. So, also not the best Royce rant. It wasn't a rant. I've heard, but good to see one nonetheless. Yeah, that was not a rant at all in any way. Not everything I do is a rant. There's a very big difference between just laying out my thoughts and laying out some of my irritations and actually me ranting. Because generally when I do videos like that, a rant is usually me just off the cuff, just laying into stuff, right? This was not off the cuff. I thought about how I was going to do this video. I laid out the things that I wanted to approach and attack in a concise way. This was definitely not a rant. So, Alanis Morissette ruined it for a lot of people with her song Ironic. Oh, God. She misled everyone as to what the word actually means. Alanis Morissette. That is a name I have not heard in a long time. Oh, God. Oh, God. Raise the meat, hoarder, hoist the axes. Hoist the axes. All hail the Iron Age. David Francisco. The twat is another grifter. Actual conservative women should advocate against feminism, female vote, and purging women out of the employment market and academia to fix the economy and the social fabric. That is not the hottest take that I've heard. So we were driving to the store the other day, and my wife is... She looks at me and she goes, unironically, the more I look into it, she's like, the more I think that we need to rescind the right for women to vote. Like, my wife is just like hardcore on that, man. She's like, she's like, I can't stand seeing how most women just cast their votes and what are important, because it's literally ruining us. I was like, wow. Is this actual irony or Alanis Moore? Or so God. Oh, God. Yeah. Sounds like a great person. She is a great person. She is. Again, yeah. I just posted the Crooked Sword song. Oh, no. Kurgan. Yeah, this is like the 90s conservative take all over again. It didn't really work well the last time. Good news is that there are plenty of conservative gamers that push back on this. It's a boomer take that's more cringe than anything else. And yes, people like her will never win the culture war. They aren't even aware of how they lost it in the first place. No, they're not. They are not. It's people who are too political never understand culture. They just don't. They don't get it. They don't, you look at people, everybody gives crap to a bunch of these large streamers on the platforms and stuff like that, and the millions of views that they get and stuff like that. And I watch, for instance, like the Unsubscribed podcast, I watch a lot of those guys. Those guys get millions of views, right? Why? Because you know what? They don't really get political a lot. They talk about that. You definitely know how they lean, right? But they talk about things like history and fun stuff, and they share guy jokes, and it's locker room and then they talk about anime, and like you wonder, like, if you want to understand culture, talk about anything but politics, or watch the streams that get like millions of views, and you'll understand culture. It's not that hard, right? I also had a thought today. Side note. Okay, side tangent, side rant, let's go. Okay, I think I figured it out, guys. For years, I have wondered how in the world it is still somewhat popular and somewhat lucrative for a lot of channels to be talking about the bad media that is being released. Because we're like a decade into this, and for me, it got boring a while ago. And I had a thought. I was like, why is nobody talking about the new things that are exciting? And it's like, but we're still talking about how bad Star Wars is. And every time something bad about Star Wars comes out, we got to talk about it. Every time something bad about The Lord of the Rings comes out, they've got to talk about it, right? And those are the streams that get the views. It's like, why? Why is this happening? And I had this thought this morning, and I was like, man, there's no water cooler conversation anymore that all of us understand. And I was like, wait a minute. That's the water cooler conversation. The water cooler conversation, because every time somebody's like, hey, have you checked this show out? No, I haven't. I don't even know why, like, what, I don't have that streaming platform. They're like, oh, it's good. But all the bad shows, all of the ones from that were like, oh, this ruined our childhood. Why are they doing this? The Star Wars is still bad. It's getting worse. It's the Lord of the Rings is bad, and all this stuff is terrible. And look at all these games and all the, like, Look at all the woke stuff in the games and look at how bad all... That's the water cooler conversation now. That's the conversation. And I'm like, wait, what? We no longer talk about how insane the last episode of Seinfeld was because there's so much out there for us to watch. But one thing that all of us are tapped into is the media and the time in the media that, whoa, that audio was weird. Is the media and the time in the media where all of us were unified and we are no longer unified around that media anymore. And we all hate it, or a lot of us hate it, and there's rage around it, and that's the conversation now. That's it. That's what people are talking about, which is strange. It's very, very strange. Because everybody, that was weird for me. That was very weird for me to have that realization this morning. There goes the words. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I onto something there or am I not? Probably not. Let's read your comments. Okay. Creative Welshman. Except guys that are constant gamers do tend to be pretty ugly. I mean, guys that... I think guys that are constant gamers are probably the ones that were shunned from society for one reason or another back in the day. But now it's so socially acceptable to really be a part of any sort of like nerd culture. Like nerd culture just absolutely exploded. So I don't know. I mean, they're probably obsessed with gaming and they haven't ever, seen like, oh, hey, maybe you should wear clothes that, aren't baggy as all hell. And, maybe you should cut your hair and like shave your face once in a while. And it's not hard. Like, it's really, it's not hard. It's really not. I wear the clothes that I wear because when I was a kid, my dad flat out told me, if you leave this house and you look like you're a disrespectful hooligan, he didn't use hooligan. He used different words. He's like, I will take your clothes and I will burn them. And then you're going to have to buy clothes that are respectful and leave this house. Because I was taught when I was younger, when I leave this house, I am a representation of my parents, okay? I'm a representation of my brothers and sisters, my friends, the people that like me, the people that hate me, my bosses at work, all of that stuff. Now I'm a representation of my wife and children out in the world, right? It is my job that when I leave the house, I am dressed in a manner that honors all of the people around me who have been a part of my life that made me who I am today. If you dress like a slob, you're showing people how you respect those people around you, right? That's the thing. That's the idea of gamers are all ugly, is it's not gamers are all ugly or gamers don't dress or they don't shower or whatever. You're literally talking about people who have probably been shunned in one way or another and have just decided that they don't need to try to honor the people in their lives because they don't feel that they've been honored at all themselves, right? And thusly it just causes this cascade effect. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. So, Alex Kogan says, on one hand, yes, there are gamers who are the smelly, unattractive stereotypes those outside the hobby do think of. I've been to more than enough cons to notice. I have heard that the smell at cons is enough to make me not want to go to a con. This is what I've heard. However, there are more than enough people who are perfectly fine and do play games themselves who don't look or smell the stereotype. And sadly, more than enough nerds already experience out-of-touch boomers that said all of the talking points which drove people away in the first place. And a lot of them want nothing to do with that silliness. Again, as usual, mainstream cons miss the plot entirely and wonder why the culture war is always a losing game battle for them. Yes, absolutely. Joke's on them. My nose doesn't work. Here's the thinking I would love to go to the cons and meet up with a lot of people. I just, I just like I've been to large scale events before, not like that. Like one of the things that we used to love going to is the National Western Stock Show in Colorado. That was awesome at the Pepsi Center. But most of that was the smell of farm animals and stuff that I'm absolutely used to. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah. So I know animal smells, but yeah. Oh my God. Mario Trujillo, why? Why? With her if I was simply in a hoodie and a pair of Jinko jeans. Oh my God, you wore Jinkos? Oh my God. Because she said it reflected poorly on her. I was expressing my own personality. Yeah, your personality sucks. So I rejected the whole you are representing those around you concept. Yes. I did not. But again, I dress pretty simply. Like this is the one color. I got a couple of other shirts that are colored, but for the most part, it's a black t-shirt and jeans. Black t-shirt, jeans, boots. Pretty stock standard, right? Pretty stock standard. Don't wear any pictures and stuff. Like, I don't know. Just, yeah. You wore Jinkos? Oh my God. I'm just giving you shit. Oh God. Well, I never full gave up on anime, manga, gaming, or reading in general. I did cut back to focus on work and dating. Long story short, I had nothing but bad dating experiences throughout my 20s and have mostly given up on dating since turning 30. My health was at an all-time low and took 4 years for me to truly pull myself out of the hole I dug. For the last 2 years, I've been eating better, exercising again, started watching anime/reading manga actively again, and yes, been playing video games. I think you meant video games. I tried the nose to the grindstone. It left me an inch-long hernia. Whoa! Almost 5 extra pant sizes and even more chronic pain than I have just from having a full spinal fusion. Oh my God, with titanium rods drilled in my vertebrae. Whoa. I don't care anymore. If I do find a good woman, I will welcome it wholeheartedly, but I'm fine with living with my elderly parents and helping them out. Every time I consider going back into the dating market, some online thought or NPC will remind me why I noped out of that cesspit. Yeah. For the record, before God, the algorithm, the chat, and whatever government agent is reading this tirade, I hate these people so much. These are the same women, because I refuse to call these women, these harpies women, who complain about their husbands being at the bar or strip club when they were the reason said husband avoided their homes in the first place. The same empty-headed stay-at-home moms whose whole identity revolved around their spoiled, sheltered hellspawn who's been kicked out of 3 separate schools for cussing out the teacher or for starting his 10th fight in a single month or selling crack out of the boys' restroom. Yes, I heard about these very things from family who worked in the school districts. Yeah, it happens all the time. The same wine-chugging, censor-lobbing Karens who think their drug-addicted homeless screw-up just needs another rehab. Even after he's held an old lady at knife point. Holy shit, dude! Oh my God! Just going after it. F these plastic, shallow, judgmental, soulless charlatans. And may whichever demon they've sold their soul to have fun using them for toilet paper after McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut. Bender. Okay, rant over. Good take, Royce, and God bless. That was the definition of let him cook. Holy crap. I don't have anything to add to that. IRL women are much different. Potentially. Yeah, I don't know. The real world is messed up. Like, I live in small town America too, and I'm going to tell you right now that men and women do not have the same idea of relationship as what they should. I would say in my small town, probably 20 to maybe 25% of the children are from people who had, or I would say that brothers and sisters, only about 20% of them live in a home where the mom and dad are still together, right? I know 5-year-olds that are on their like third stepdad. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So you want to talk about, like, I mean, again, it's just the family cohesion thing is just not there. Yeah, I could tell you were very angry. Liz, tell us that your mind is unattractive without telling us that your mind is unattractive. Creative Welsman. A fun fact, video games can actually help improve your eyesight. It would be a shame if men suddenly developed better eyesight that allows them to see through the bullshit and see the uncultured skanks for what they are. God, the divorce rate would skyrocket. The divorce rate already has skyrocketed. I think it's 60% of marriages now. It's north of 50%. North of 50% of marriages end in divorce. It also compounds because every time every time you get remarried, that goes up. It goes up quite a bit. Creative Welsman. Holy fuck. But seriously, I've heard stories of guys who were bullied into getting rid of their collections worth thousands because their wives, for whatever reason, just hate video games. One such example ended up with a guy buying himself a PS3, which was new at the time, and his wife left him because he wouldn't give up his hobbies for her. Okay, so that's... Okay. Was it, hey, I need some time to just chill for like an hour a night or a couple hours a week? Or was this guy totally obsessed? He would come home, turn on the game system, and then he wasn't being a husband, wasn't being a father, any of that? Like, where's the context here? Okay? Where's the context? All right. Because the idea of, well, he just wouldn't give up her hobbies for her. Well, wait a minute. Was he even acting like a husband? Or was he not? I mean, again, all right, I'm sorry, Skanks, but we guys are allowed our hobbies and alone time. Yeah, but you are not allowed to come home from a hard day's worth of work and treat your wife like a doormat. Okay? There's a big thing. Something I learned in my younger years because my wife and I at one point in time almost didn't make it. Okay? And it's because I was coming home and I was just treating her like the housemaid. I wasn't treating her like my wife. And you know what? As a young man, I had to learn that lesson. So yeah, where's the difference here? Because my hobby and my passion back then was doing the music stuff. And I get so addicted to it. And that's why I have to balance out. That's why I told you guys, like, I had to cut back on streaming. Because I get into this. I want to do this. I want to make this my living because I think it's fun. Or at least enough cash that we can, be better off financially. And I love this. This shit's great. However, I cannot do this to the detriment of my wife and children. I can't. So, all right. We deal with so much shit in our daily lives being judged by our worth that we deserve our 5 minutes of peace. But again, was it 5 minutes of peace or not? That's the question. All right. But then again, what do you expect from women who get emotional 24/7? That's not accurate. I'm sorry. That's not accurate. I'm sorry. Women don't get emotional 24/7. They don't. They are more emotional than men, but they're not emotional 24/7. So, if you treat a woman like a thing, don't be mad when that thing walks away to go find somebody else to be treated like a woman. I mean, right? Now, if you come in the house and and you sit there, you talk with her. One of the first things you do, I can be mentally out of it, right? I get home, I usually just got to sit and I want to chill for a second, right? Sometimes I'm tired, but I go home, I sit down, drink a beer. My wife comes out, and when I sit down, she wants to tell me about her day, what she was doing, the cute animals that she got, the things that she did, all the running around. It doesn't matter. She wants me to sit there and listen to what she did with her day, right? So for about a half an hour, sometimes less, sometimes more, I sit there and I listen to my wife, and I listen to the things that she went through her day, the fun things, the stressful things, the weird things, right? The things that she did with the kids, the schooling, all of that, right? All of it. All right. And then we go on about our days. I come down here, I work on this stuff, you know, and then at the end of the night, if she's got some funny videos that she wants to show me, like, because she saves TikToks and Facebook Reel. I don't think she has TikTok anymore. It's Facebook Reels or whatever. And she shows me funny videos from people that she saved for me, because that's our us time, right? Okay. Now, if you walk in the house, you turn on the game system, and you treat your wife like that thing that's in your way, yeah, that's a problem. So now we just need people to stop supporting live service games and microtransactions in gaming. You're only getting my money once, and that is enough. Also, take note that online trolling and gambling are lower down on the list. That's more attractive than guys who play Mario Kart. Seriously. But taxidermy makes a bit of sense. That shit ain't attractive at all, but someone's got to do it. My wife saw that list and she was like, I feel really attacked because I'm into most of that stuff. I remember a video series on YouTube done by Christian Hoff, the factual feminist, who took it upon herself to dispel the myths of Gamergate. Is that what you're? I.e., games are bad. Anyway, and exposed feminism in video games by, get this, talking to actual gamers. If I find the video series, I'll link it in the Discord server. Oh, thank you so much, man. But yeah, there's a lot going on there. Happy Labor Day. What's going on, Trippy? How you doing, Trippy? Megatron95. I'd rather have fun hobbies than be bored out of my mind. Yeah, pretty much. Maji Chance as well said, thank you so much. Republican. Says the buck-toothed blonde bimbo. People got mad at this one. Revenge Revisited says, don't know why some people in the comments section feel the need to call women skanks or want to take away our right to vote. But yeah, people like, ooh. It might be a little, I think a lot of people are a little angry on this one, right? But yeah, people like Liz Wheeler and Matt Walsh aren't helping us win the culture war by spewing their entertainment equals bad nonsense. The earlier conservative war against entertainment, D&D, Harry Potter, violent video games, etc., is one of the reasons why leftists run the show now. Yeah! It's almost like people like entertainment more than they like geopolitics. It's interesting. Anyway, I highly doubt that chart is even real, because every female friend I've ever had has played video games and watched anime, and I'm not talking about phone games or Sailor Moon. Probably women who enjoy those hobbies or are introverted or otherwise have kind and mild personalities aren't the type to answer polls like that. So the result gets skewed by the more narcissistic types and loud complainers. I wouldn't even bother trying to date nor interact with someone who insulted my hobbies like that, and I think that's good advice for anyone. People like that aren't worth your time. You know what? I like that comment. The more I think about it, the more this whole man versus women crap needs to stop. Agreed. Like, we're not going to be able to accomplish anything with that nonsense constantly going around. Men and women need each other and belong together, and pettiness solves nothing. Well, no, you're absolutely correct, Revenge Revisited. Here's the problem, okay? Men and women need each other for one thing, and that is to procreate and make babies and further our species. When that unified goal is gone, there is no goal for them to unify around, right? So that's the thing. The family dynamic is massively good for society, but for some reason, weird reason, don't know, people don't want to acknowledge that, right? The thing is this like if you get like I flat out told my wife when I started dating, I'm like, no, the purpose of dating is to find the person that you're going to marry. It's to find the person you're going to have kids with. That's why my children not allowed to date till they're at least 16. At least 16. And I might put a stop to that if I don't feel that they're emotionally mature enough, right, to do that. Or if for some reason the people that they're bringing home are absolute retards. No, you're not allowed to date this person. I have to meet their parents first, right? Them's the rules in my house. Like we've had people tell us that they're like 11 and 12-year-olds are they have a crush on my oldest, who's 12, by the way. And we're like, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh, and it's just so adorable. They called her girlfriend, and like my wife is like, don't you dare let your son say that about my daughter. They are not dating. Dating is not allowed in our house. They're like, oh, it's just innocent. It's like, no, it's not. People who are letting 12 and 13-year-olds date need to have their heads examined because it's not dating. And most of these parents don't view dating as the first step into finding the person that they're going to marry. They don't look at it that way. It's just this flippant thing, right? It's so yeah, no, absolutely. It's no. Eric Parker, it's so weird that they don't realize why they always lose elections. Clown World, yeah, that's weird. Andy Radart, thank you, Avery Parker. Oh, and thank you, Revenge Revisited. I liked her comment a lot. If I read it correctly, then I believe that is a female audience member here. Ironically, the kind of women I find unattractive are the ones who agree with this list. If a woman finds you unattractive for any of these hobbies, except possibly trolling, except for trolling might be, you're best off just moving along, being happy for the lucky escape and finding someone who accepts you for you. I'm going to be honest. If you can't intelligibly explain why you like your hobbies well enough to the woman, and she's like, well, I just find this stuff unattractive. If you can't make it unattractive to her, that's probably a problem on you, right? Can we just be honest about that? If you can't make your hobby attractive to her, you're probably, that sounds like a you thing, right? I mean, for instance, I got my wife into Dragon Ball Z, right? Before she even watched Dragon Ball Z, she bought me this Vegeta picture because she knew how much I loved it. But again, I found a way to make my hobbies attractive to my wife, and that's why she supports what I do here. Oh God, D.E. Eichenberg says, and this kind of nonsense is what makes women unattractive to us. No wonder men would rather play video games than deal with that woman, and that is what she is really mad about. I don't think so at all. This woman comes across as the type of person that absolutely wants. She would rather get clicks on the internet than be a mom or a wife, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Gibster, first off, you can't attribute that all conservatives hate all entertainment outside of black and white, and then also claim you've never heard of conservative political pundits as well known as Liz Wheeler. Somebody else who missed the point. You're sort of trying to have the dig go both ways, and it doesn't work. Most gamers are likely to be centrist on both sides of the political aisle. For some reason, see gamers as punching bags. I don't know why this is a thing. We just try to stay in our own corner, but for some reason, everyone wants to force their way into our space to tell us how much we suck, and then wonder why most of us are isolationists and enjoy gaming as a hobby. But to her point, most gamers are unattractive, but that isn't anything most of us care about to begin with, because a lot of people are ugly on the inside. Okay, so this guy obviously missed the irony of the video, which is fun. Unholy pride. I'm black and Republican. So to group us all together is mad wild. And all I do is game. Oh, man. Thank you so much, Unholy Pride. Republican and a gamer. Wheeler is wrong on this. This is Kevin Milstead. Gaming is an outlet for men, much like weightlifting or watching sports. These are things predominantly men enjoy doing. Whether or not women find it unattractive is completely irrelevant. What you do for fun is etched into your personality and who you are as a person. A man should not be cast aside as a potential partner for a woman based on something as trivial as playing video games. Possibly true. Very much so. I need to figure out how to show all these comments here on the actual stream in a different way, because I've noticed when I bring up the big screen, everybody leaves. And I get it. But everybody's like, no, you got to put the comments on screen, Royce. And I'm like, yeah, but people leave when I do that. Oh, well. Yeah, so that was a fun thing to talk about. I just saw that, and I was like, man, this is just a stupid take. Did not play very well on the channel at all. So... did not play very well. Interesting. This one got decent viewership for my small channel. It has a 51% like ratio, 67 likes to 63 dislikes. That is insane. Accepting you for you, maybe. But if you suck to be around, or if you're wildly unhealthy, if you're weak, she shouldn't. Yeah, so it's like, so men, it's your responsibility to sell yourself. Right? It's kind of like what I tell, what I tell people all the time, right? If you want somebody to buy your book as a creative, you got to market yourself well. If you want a woman to be interested in you, you've got to market yourself well. If you're like, well, I just don't want to have to pretend. Dude, if you have to pretend to be somebody else to get that woman to like you, maybe just a thought. Think about why you have to pretend and then correct those parts of you, right? Like, it's like, I've never had to pretend to be anybody else around my wife, right? Ever once. Not ever. Up your game, boys. Yeah. And it's not about working out. And it's not, everybody's like, oh, it's about working out. It's about doing all this stuff. I mean, I worked out when we met. I was also 18 years old, and I had time to do that. So everybody's like, Royce, why did you work out now? I was like, because I don't want to get up at 2:30 in the morning. I already get up at 4. But anyway, I digress. You're looking for a wife, not a replacement for your mom. Yeah, exactly. And so, but yeah, when my wife and I met, I was very, very physically active all the time. Physically active, had my stuff that I loved to do, watched DVDs, went out to movies all the time, but still played video games, right? Talked about politics, did all this stuff. You know, my wife at the time was an Obama liberal, right? Liberal, pro-choice, all this stuff. And when she would say some dumb things, I would go, that's not how it works at all. And she, wait, what? And I always tell, and she was like, yeah, when she was nobody ever had the gall to look at her because all they wanted to do was get in her pants, and nobody was like, yeah, no, that's dumb. You're being dumb. Stop being dumb. And I was the only person to do it. And she was like, nobody ever did that with me. But she's like, but you didn't do it in a bad way. You didn't mock me for it. You took the time to explain something to me that nobody ever took the time for. And, funny enough, I took my time to treat my wife like a person and not just, a walking pair of pants that's getting in the way of what I really want. I actually treated her like a person, and wow, yeah, here we are almost 14 years later. Actually, our anniversary is coming up in a few weeks here. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing, too. Yeah, well, how do I get a woman? I don't know. Treat them like a person, right? I mean, have a little bit of knowledge behind you about, the world. Talk with them. It's not hard. So, all right. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Big plot hole. There's a lot of comments on this one, boys. There's a lot of comments on this one. This is going to get... And long comments, too, because people come in and they're just like, I think... They're like, I think the best way to do this is to just write 5 or 10 paragraphs. And I will say this. People who have never been to the channel who don't know that I read all of the comments. I'm like, all right, they're getting their comments out. People who come to the channel and they're like, Royce, I'm going to type out the longest comment ever because I know you read the comments. Those ones, I'm like, that's kind of irritating, guys. PayPal Royce. Oh, hey, PayPal. Thank you so much. Ultimate Kahuna. I just checked it a minute ago. From the Ultimate Kahuna for $5. Says anyone can answer. I'm in an odd place. I'm trying to get my life back together, but I don't want to wait until one, too old to find my partner. Any wisdom you could impart would be appreciated. Avoid women in big cities. Try to find a woman with a good family dynamic. Try to prove to said person that you are hardworking and you will provide for them. And, life might not be the easiest with you, but it's definitely going to be a fun ride. I don't know, dude. I mean, I would say, I don't know, dude, because, everybody's like, oh, here's all these red flags you have to avoid. And I'm like, dude, I told my wife, I was like, man, my wife had so many red flags, it was like a communist rally. She had a lot of red flags, a lot of baggage, a lot of things, right? All the stuff that you are told, good Christian men, do not go after women like this. You don't do it. And it's like, I did. But the difference is we were also 19. We found each other when we were still children ourselves and then had children shortly after that. We had 4 kids by the time we were 24. So, I don't know what the dating market looks like at this age. I don't know. 2% red flags to sail the 7 seas. Yeah. So I don't know what the dating market looks like for adults now. I have no clue. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to navigate that, right? And the thing is too, is because I think it is it's a recent thing, I believe, but I think that it is fairly probably unnatural for us to get together as our biology gets older. That's what I'm trying to say. Through most of human history, I think that we find 19 is way different than 30. I know, that's what I'm saying. Because I don't know. And I think that that's what makes it harder. It's because when we're 19, we're definitely letting the emotions and the endorphins and the thrill of it kind of take over. And, thankfully, my parents imparted that, no, if you're going to date somebody, it's to be with that person and to see if they're going to be the right fit for you to marry, right? And having that excitement, having all that stuff around it, I still never lost my head about it. Okay. I remember, so I'll tell you. So my wife, I told you, she had a very, very different background, right? Very, very different background. When we very, very first got together, within the first week or two of us getting together, my wife, girlfriend at the time, again, very different background than the Christian boy that I was and the Catholic boy that I was. So offers up a threesome, right? Very first together. I looked at her and I said, yeah, that might be fun, but if we've got to do that now, but if we've got to bring somebody else into this, we might as well call it quits right here. She'd never had somebody say that. In fact, every time that she'd said that to previous boyfriends, they were all about it. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Why not? And I told her, I said, you know what? If we got to bring another person, we might as well stop here. Because this is between you and me. That's it. And she had never had somebody, I was 19, she'd never had somebody say that to her. The other thing too, the only advice that I can really give that I would say still factors in today is a relationship is, especially marriage. I don't know if it's between you, your wife, or if you're, a woman, you and your husband and God. That's it. Okay. And your problems are not the community's problems. They're not your mom's problems. They're not your dad's problems. You don't call your best friend about it, right? The one thing that I remember I told my wife is any argument that we're having, because again, I found the big titty goth girl who was an Obama liberal, and I came from a Catholic conservative household. Okay? And my family did not like her at all in any way. Right? So I told her, I was like, our arguments, not for everybody else. They are ours. Ours alone and nobody else's. Do not bring this stuff up in front of my family. We don't call our best friends when we have a problem. We don't do any of this stuff, right? Your relationship is not for the tribe. And I would say this, if the two of you can't respect that, and it's like, every time we have a little bit of a tiff or an argument, she goes to her friends or her grandma or her somebody else who does not know how that relationship is. And then all of a sudden, she's like, well, I was talking with this person and they said that they're not a part of the fucking relationship. That's the only advice I could say from 19 to 32 that I would say, because again, any relationship should have. Once you're in that relationship, your problems are between each other. And if you can't, And if the two of you cannot respect that and establish that boundary, what we talk about between us is between us. If it gets physical between the two of you, and I don't mean the fun kind of physical, I mean like somebody starts beating the crap out of each other. Okay, that a little bit of a different story. Take that outside. Maybe you guys should definitely get away from that, right? I don't know how to manage all that, though. I don't know how all that plays out because I haven't lived that. I don't know. You guys, but anyway, that is a big one, Kahuna. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I wish I could help you further than that. That's a big one, though. That's a big one, man. Let's get over into these comments. Here. All right. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the big plot hole. Caffeinated Wolf. Royce, I'm about to say a lot of stupid things right now. Everyone, we watch your content regularly. So the joke is on you then. I just hear the Street Fighter announcer in my head. Oh, God. Oh, wait, I don't remember the Street Fighter. I hear the Mortal Kombat guy. Round one, fight. I don't remember the Street Fighter announcer. Was it the same guy? I don't remember. Aragmar Brilliant. Royce, there is a word for more stupid. It's stupider. I don't like the phonetics of that. How would you rank it for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, which is really good. Brothers work well together. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brothers work well together. All of the characters are really cool. There weren't any characters that were overly obnoxious to me, which was really nice. Stock standard stuff going on. I would say, I would honestly say Death Note is probably a 9 out of 10. Because it did have that lull there in the middle, but it pulled itself back together by the end. But yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I would say, is definitely probably an 8 out of 10. Definitely an 8 out of 10 for sure. Initially, Spiced Wolf and FMA Brotherhood were all animes where I preferred the dub to the sub. Again, my thing is I really just don't like the sound of Japanese voice acting. I'll accept that. I came here to hear more about your FMA takes. Yeah, no. Oh, we're getting into those. And I'm actually going to do a whole video on this thing here. All right. Liu says, holy crap, I had never given it any thought. They just kind of accept that there's two Al's. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that just kind of headcanon some stuff, which is very interesting. They just sort of accept that there's two Al's. Why the heck was Alphonse so okay with this? So yeah, and they did a lot of other things, right? Like there's so much that like if I start to deep dive on it, It's really interesting. So we'll get in as people comment on the stuff. I'll do it. So this is going to be great. This is really fun. Again, I can say that a show has a problem and not think the entire thing is trash. Like he had a crisis thinking he wasn't real. The boys were so dedicated to their mission that he doesn't even think, okay, I'm real. It's just the giant beer can that was probably made from recycled White Claws. Oh God, had to get it in there. Is it me or can Royce confuse the hell out of me in talking about this anime? The way he's talking about it, I'm not interested in it. Yeah, I was making a lot of snappy like one-liners and stuff like that, Sam Allen. I'm not going to sit here like, what was it, Ben Stein? And be like, Bueller. Like, there is a way that our generation likes to talk about stuff and be hyperbolic about it that is just, it's the older generation does not like, and I've noticed that with like Tim Allen. Like anytime I kind of start to talk the way that my generation does, where we're just kind of going about it, people in the older generations are like, I don't understand. Why are you saying it like this? If you like it, shouldn't you be like, well, we're going to discuss Full Metal Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood today. It was a show talking about two brothers. It's like, nobody likes those videos. I certainly can't. I really have an issue. And there's a lot of videos out there that do very well. All they do is they show pictures of the show and they come in and they're like, guys, today we're going to talk about Full Metal Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't know why I can't say this word, but we're going to talk about this today and talk about the deep philosophy of how this show worked and what it did so well and why the brothers are so lovable and the things that I love. And they're just very tepid and they don't get a voice inflection above a fucking fly fart on the decibel scale. And I'm like, God, I cannot listen to videos like that. I'm just not my thing. So, Legna Underground. Hey, I don't. Okay. Also, I found a few logical issues or unclear stuff with this series. I love the series anyway. Yeah, no, I like the series anyway. It's really good. Okay. All right. Like, why cannot the four chimeras return to their families, considering they can absolutely hide their natures of chimeras? Well, they were prisoners. They were in jail. I mean, when they are not fugitives anymore, it's never really cleared up if they're never not going to be. Well, maybe maybe. Instead, Tuco working in a circus with Yogi and to travel with Al, hoping to find a way to return to normal while still praising their animal instincts too. That's a mangaism. Yeah, that's a mangaism. Yep, I despise NPR voice. So weird. Dude, there are some people that'll send me videos. They're like, Royce, you've got to listen to this video. This guy makes so many good points. And they start off and they're like, welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I click off. I'm like, nope. I don't really feel like falling asleep like right now. So yeah, the one you pointed out is a bit bigger. Also, I noticed a body without a soul being able to talk was strange, but didn't think about why it isn't weird by the truth, like Ed's arm and leg. Yeah, the body. The one thing that bothered me in the anime was when the tin can knight's armor that has the soul in it and it's running, it starts to heavy breathe like it's running. Like, it doesn't have muscles, it doesn't have lungs, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't sleep. Why is it exasperated? That was just something that I was like, they should have thought about that. That right there, if they would have gotten that right, it probably would have elevated the series to like a 9 out of 10 for me, to be honest, even with the other stuff. Yeah. I don't remember if in the manga or in some YouTube video explaining alchemy, maybe it was just an FMA 2003 thing. I don't remember. It was mentioned that people are made of body, soul, and mind. And if that is in the manga, that clears up a lot of things. I do, however, know that the 2003 wildly deviates from the manga. That's why they did Brotherhood, was to give you something that is actually closer to the manga. So if it's a 2003 anime thing and you're saying, well, obviously this is canon. No, it's not. That's why they redid it. So, and that's why I didn't watch the 2003 thing, because it's not really a canon thing. So, yeah. And in that case, it isn't clear where Alphonse's mind is. Maybe it might be a part with his soul and the part with his body, allowing it to talk. I don't know. However, unfortunately, we have to accept that some things are left vague. Yes, they are. And I like talking about those things because they're fun. And that's what we should be talking about. All right. I may make a few more examples if you wish. And this is one of them. However, we can guess Al's case is a bit different than Ed's limbs, as Alphonse has got his soul bound to an armor and Edward's not. Maybe this may be part of the explanation of the different behaviors, but who knows? Well, it's not necessarily behavior on the boys. Let's not focus on the boys here. It is the truth, right? Because in the show, all right. Let me read Drake Tungsten's stuff here because we need to talk about. Okay, Drake Tungsten, I liked Mustang too. Mustang was a badass. That was legitimately, anytime that guy was on screen and he was going to mess some stuff up, I was like, all right, we're in for a treat. It's like when you watch Attack on Titan and Levi is like, okay, I have to fight now. And you're just like, okay, here we go. This is legit. It's so good. Spy Family is great. Drake Tungsten says, Spy Family I will not be reviewing. For multiple reasons. Anyway. So here's one of the biggest issues that I found. Okay. So both of them do the transmutation thing, right? They both use their alchemy powers. Okay. They go in. There's the truth door, right? When Ed gets into they're like, no, but what you got to understand is they used the same door, so they were both there. Like, it's like their shared world. And I'm like, okay, so then why in the original meeting that Ed did with the truth did he not see his little brother there at the same time, right? And then the truth, because they show up there and then the truth is like, oh, by the way, you got to give me, and it's not until he opens the door and shows them like the cosmic reality that they start to lose their appendages. That is how it is explained to us. So he loses his appendage because he can't take too much of the cosmic reality. So he loses his arm because that's how much of the cosmic reality he could accept. Whereas Alphonse loses his whole body because apparently he accepts everything and has to give up everything, right? So, one, you never see them in the same area interacting. Two, we can possibly assume that the truth also spoke to Alphonse because he spoke to Ed, so why wouldn't he speak to Alphonse, right? And then, if that holds true, he speaks to them and says, hey, you got to give me something. And it's like, oh, dear God. And then you come back. Now, we obviously know that the price for a soul in the show is a leg. Or is something that you are willing to lose, right? Or it's an arm. It's an arm. That's what it is. Yeah, he loses his leg for the truth, loses his arm for his brother. Got it. That works, okay? We also know in the show, the way that it's broken down, because they can't say, well, Alphonse's soul came back, and the reason that they're treated differently is because Alphonse didn't go through the same experience, which is bullshit, because in the show, once Alphonse remembers, he's able to do the transmutation circle with his body, which is what it takes, and do transmutation without having to draw a circle on the ground, right? Which is, again, another point of the plot hole here. So, obviously, my question still holds is, why does truth wear Ed's body? And we all just assume that the body that we're seeing in that gate area is not the truth wearing. Why doesn't the truth wear Alphonse's body in the same way that he starts wearing Ed's body? Because Alphonse obviously had to give up his whole body to the truth in order to see the cosmic reality, right? Them's the rules. But no, that's not the truth. That's Alphonse. That's Al. Why? That doesn't make fucking sense. Hi, RH Snow. Drake Tungsten, this was a good video. I never really thought about the part you were confused to. If it was God, though, he can do whatever he wants, and maybe he just did things different for Al because that's what Al needed. Also, Winry. Yes, also Winry. Agreed. At least in the context of the show, I really liked her. She was an adorable character. Absolutely love the hell out of her. But the truth flat out doesn't care about what Al needed. The truth flat out says, he's like, I don't care. He's like, I'm everything. I am all that is and all that was and all that ever will be, basically. He's like, I've got many names. And he goes, but if you want to know me, you have to give up you, right? Them's the rules. That's what he says. He doesn't care about and again, it's the human transmutation thing, because basically only he is allowed to do it, right? So why does all of a sudden he cares about Al but doesn't care about other people in the same way? It doesn't make sense. You are ascribing a motive to something that we never saw. It's not a plot hole, but I don't think you'll like what I infer as the answer. Al and Edward use the same transmutation circle to contact the truth, and this is the main point to remember. This is why their two gates are in the same place. When Ed uses the same circle a second time to save Al, he's tying his body and soul to Al's body and soul. Okay, they use the two gates to escape. They use the two gates to escape Gluttony's stomach in the beginning of the show. They didn't, at least in Brotherhood, I only saw one gate. As far as I know, there was one gate on the floor. They completed it. Al did the transmutation. Or Ed did the transmutation, told the other guys to go through it, and then he went through it. So... Okay. The show also tells you that Al's body has not decomposed because it's receiving some limited nutrition through Ed's body. That is something that was speculated by the boys, and then basically we as the audience were just supposed to take it as law, right? When I watched that scene, I was like, that's weird. I mean, potentially it could. That was just a speculation. It was said once in the show, never touched upon again. It was literally a throwaway line to be like, oh, it was. And so, yeah, I guess if we have to accept it because it was just some random thing that they speculated about and must obviously be true, maybe. So Al's soul is in the suit, is like a copy of Al in the void, but out of sync. It's kind of like saying you have the same soul in two places, but I won't dawdle on that. I mean, I could see that the soul kind of being split up, maybe. When they see Al's body, it's not truth wearing his flesh like a puppet. I know it's not. That's my problem. Why does the truth treat Al differently than Ed? Why? Why is the inconsistency there? It's just the actual body of Al. I know! Al eventually rejoins that body in exchange for Ed's arm. I know that originally put him in the armor. So Al gave up his body because he accepted like all of the cosmic reality as stated in the show, and that's why he could transmutate even by doing the alchemic circle, even when he's in the army. He gave up his whole body to get more cosmic knowledge than Ed, but his body wasn't given up to the truth at all. His body was given up to himself in the void. Like, in order for Al to be able to do the alchemic fucking circle with his body, he had to give up his body or his something for the truth. It is stated like that. Everybody who can transmutate with the alchemic circle, that after you see the cosmic truth with their body by just clapping their hands together, right, has to give up something for the truth, and the truth takes that, and it's his now. So Al, unlike anybody else in the show, unlike their teacher, unlike Mustang, unlike well, the one, no, I guess he didn't have to do it because their dad, but multiple examples of this. Al is the only exception that apparently his body was not sacrificed to the truth like everybody else's is. Why is Al special? It doesn't make sense. It's accepted. I get it. Whatever. It's a plot hole. It is. I'm sorry. It is. Okay. But their gates are in the same place. This is why Ed is able to give up his gate and return home with Al. If their gates weren't in the same place, Ed would likely not have been able to save Al in the end of the story. And here's the thing. If the truth was wearing Al's skin suit, he still could have said, what are you going to give up to get your brother's body back? Because Al's soul could have still been there too, reunited in that void somehow in that gate. And Ed could have said, I'm going to give up my gate. But I know he has a gate. And it still could have played out the same way. Because I don't understand why Al is the only one treated differently than any other alchemist who goes through this. Fuck, Mustang didn't even do the alchemic circle, and they still took his sight from him. Maybe because Ed transmuted Al, it wasn't technically given to the truth. No, Al transmuted himself. They both did the thing. They both put their hands on the thing. It was both of their intentions to do the transmutation thing. For some reason, I understand Ed is obviously the main character here. Okay? And that's why people are focusing on him so much. But if you want, they both put their hands on the seal. It was both of their intentions to do the alchemy to bring their mom back, and they failed at it. But for some reason, it's like, well, Ed meant to do this, Ed meant to do that. What about what Al meant to do, which is still in the show? Is it literally just a plot hole? Because it's like, oh, Al is not quite a main character, so we can just forget about all of his intentions through the show? Alphonse intended to do the transmutation as well. Because Al chose rightly, because what is the acceptable sacrifice but become the habitation and indwelling sacrifice? No, Royce. Al was put into the new body. He was transmuted. No, he wasn't. He was not technically transmuted. Loosely. Because transmutation is to change one thing into another, right? And that's not what it was. It was because human transmutation does not change one thing into another. It is the sacrifice. Because the only things that humans can supposedly transmute into is the truth, right? That's why that was the philosophy there, right? Is that humans are already beings. Spending your time arguing, Weavery. Yes, I am, D. Gray. Humans are already beings that are that essentially have the higher importance in the world, right? That's why they say one is all and all is one, right? It's because they are the highest form of life. They are the highest form of reality, right? So the only thing that they can transmute themselves into is, that higher form of reality. Obviously, unless you get the horrible things like, when they turned that little girl into half dog person, which that was 4 episodes in. And I was like, oh, damn. Wow. God, man, that episode was rough. I almost turned that episode off. I was like, I know where this is going. And I knew where it was going. And I was like, please don't. Oh, wow, they did it. Oh my God. That was oof. All right. Skunk's Workshop. Mustang was awesome. I agree. I'm biased, though, because I tend to love the fire-type characters. And that might have something to do with the fact that I used to light my toys on fire. Keep lighters away from Skunk's Workshop. Yes. Yay. Unmitigated weavery. Maji-chan. Watch everything. Wait, what? I did. My favorite was Hughes. Well, that didn't last. Okay, Armstrong is my favorite now. Oh, shit. Yeah, that was interesting. Hughes was a good character. I liked the way that they used his character. It was really good. A Sword Rush says the alchemy seems wonky in the truth because it needs to feel beyond human comprehension. It's the realm of God, not man. The characters in the show aren't meant to fully grasp it. Yes. What I'm saying is why function it differently? Because it functioned the same for every other person that used the human transmutation stuff. But for some reason, it didn't function that way for Al, even though Al's intention was the same. Hell, if you want to say anything, Mustang is the only one who had something taken from him, and it was never his intention to use human transmutation. Right? I don't know. And keep in mind one of the things that Al learns in the show is that him and Alphonse's body are inexplicably connected through alchemy, despite being in different dimensions. So essentially, Alphonse's truth was always placed right next to his. It's just that God wasn't allowing him to see it before. Alphonse's body and soul is supposed to be sacrificed to the truth, but Al pulled Alphonse. You mean Ed? Ed, you're saying Al, but I think you mean Ed. Okay, but Ed pulled Alphonse's soul out, so it's like, okay, sorry, I had to recontextualize that. You're saying Al, but you meant Ed, and yeah, I get it. I've done that too. So it's likely God is keeping Alphonse's body around until it rejoins the soul, whatever way that happens. But that doesn't make any sense because he wears everybody else's stuff. You sacrifice it to him. It doesn't make sense. Why does the truth not wear Al's body? I just want to know that. That's it. And how does it change the story at all if when they go back, it's the truth wearing his body? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh God, wow. Oh, Creative Welshman. Okay. Long comment ahead. You've been warned. Okay, Royce, to answer your question, you're being dumb and missed the context of who/what the truth is. Really? I love it when people tell me this because this is... All right, let's see what he has to say first before I shred it. Okay, let me explain. The truth is like the Holy Spirit and acts as a reflection of the person it speaks to in the truth realm where they met the truth. The truth in the beginning punishes Edward and Alphonse for trying to bring their mother back because of the cost of recreating a human soul is too great for any individual, hence why Father, a.k.a. Dwarf in the Jar, made the Philosopher's Stone, an amalgamation of human souls to cheat the alchemy system. Yeah. The body of Alphonse in the truth realm is his actual body, yes, and not the truth. Yes. He's able to see and understand everything going on thanks to his soul being bound to the armor, but the bound soul cannot access those memories. Okay. Now every time a character attempts human transmutation, the truth takes something from them that has symbolism tied to what's affecting the characters in their given circumstances. Ed lost his leg because he lost the support of his loving, caring mother and couldn't stand up on his... Yeah. Izumi lost her womb because she was grieving a lost child. Mustang lost his sight because he lost a support network and nearly ended up being a monster. Alphonse lost his body because he missed the loving warmth of his mother's love. Edward lost his right arm because he was reaching to get his brother back. Yes. And Von Heumann, did I spell that right? No, you didn't, but that's okay. Lost his ability to die thanks to a father's ritual, which granted him a false sense of eternal life. Yes, I get that. But here's the other side of it. In almost every single instance, the truth wears the body parts of the stuff that you give up to it. Okay? When you think about it, it's very messed up that truth treats people, but then again, the truth doesn't care about your feelings in the equation. So why did he treat Al differently? Only if you learned your lesson, second time around, Edward made a simple request to have his brother back and only lost an arm. By the end, when he made his final attempt at alchemy, he chose to give up the power, which is equal to the human soul, and brought his brother back. Yes, I understand all that. You're talking around the whole thing. This is my problem with this argument, right? Everybody comes up with there's more than just one comment similar to this, right? By the end, when he made his final attempt at alchemy, he chose to give the power, which brought back his brothers back. Symbolically speaking, he conquered death itself and returned with newfound wisdom to impart on the world. Even the truth admits that Edward had finally found out the correct answer, that humans don't need godlike powers to try and replace God, because admits Edward had finally found the correct answer, that what is important is making connections with people, going out into the world, making friends, starting families, being connected with them. Simply, yes. To end with, Royce, because I could keep going for hours. Yeah, there is a God in that world, but it waits beyond the doors that every person has and judges accordingly after the truth has sussed out. No, that's not what the fucking truth said. The truth said, you can call me God, the truth, the universe. I have a lot of names. So you are literally just making shit up that was not said in the show. Like, in the show, he's like, you can call me whatever you want. But you want this other stuff? Well, guess what? You're going to have to give me something, and let's see if you can handle all of what I have to offer. You're making shit up, dude. Okay. One last question. I do apologize for the long comment. Royce, who is your favorite character aside from Mustang, and why? I don't have one. Mustang was my favorite character. Ed was cool. I like him. In the chat below, mine's Scar, Brotherhood, and Lust 2003. Sorry, Ling fangirls. He's far behind Greed, both on my list of favorite characters. I liked Mustang. Mustang was a cool character. Yeah, I like Mustang. He was a cool character. I don't really have another favorite. They're all kind of the same to me. But yeah, no. Again, I need a video of how many times Royce sighs. Just call me insane. This is that, but that shit right there. There is a God in the world that but it waits beyond the doors that every person has. That is legitimate headcanon. That is fucking headcanon. You made that shit up to make your argument fucking work. Find it for me in the manga or the show. Because here's the one thing is like, hey, did I miss something? I actually went and listened to somebody break down the differences between the 2003, the manga, and Brotherhood. And I don't remember where it says this in any of that. Fuck me, man. Edward's arm and leg being used by the truth represent the price he had to pay for his hubris. Alphonse's entire consciousness and autonomous body represent for Edward the guilt he has for the price that Alphonse paid. But where's Alphonse's price? Fuck! Why? But that's the thing. So Alphonse it doesn't fucking matter that he made the same choice as his brother? For the price Alphonse paid, even though he was supposed to keep his little brother safe, for Alphonse, it represents the kind of person and experience life he is missing and is characterized using a whole entire duplicate. It's mostly a story device, and once the magic system alchemy reaches a truth scene, the story-based reasons supersede the need to have a consistent representation of how lost limbs work, or it's just that that truth Alphonse has a functioning brain. In either way, the body and parts left with truth don't need to have a consistent portrayal because there is no effect one way or the other. If truth hangs them on a wall, wears them, or makes silly rabbit-shaped trinkets out of them, as long as Ed and Al are capable of retrieving them. All right, I gotta like that comment. That's yeah, okay. So basically, stop fucking worrying about it. It's like it doesn't matter one way. Even I actually said that. Like, what would be Sai Super Chat? Wait, what? Sai Super Chat. Oh fuck. Man, I just made an entire episode. Thanks for hosting, Royce. You made a lot of great points. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. No, wait, what am I hosting? And you're welcome. Wait, why? I don't remember. What? What's going on here? Okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter because as long as the kids can get him back, get the body back at the end. I actually do like the fact that, the leg was still gone. That was nice. I liked this one already. You failed the alchemy exam. Off to the abyss with you. SparkNotes version. God isn't the form of Al. God is part Al, and Al is part God. This is the truth that the two discover when their teacher sends them to the island. All is one and one is all, or something like that. God, or really truth. The whole is just the conscious universe in their image. Yes, that is why each version of truth is in the image of the person who went through the gate. But not for Al. It is explicitly stated that Al goes through the fucking gate and sees his body. Not the truth. His body. We never actually, I don't actually think we see Al until his soul goes back to his body in that realm, talk with the truth, which, by the way, is totally separated. The truth isn't wearing Al's body. Fuck, dude. It just seems like an oversight. It's a simple oversight, and I don't fucking know. I did not expect it to take this turn. This guy's okay. God, Al's not doing human transmutation, so that fucking Al never tried human transmutation. That's fucking stupid. Why would? Okay, you're under the impression that a person consists of two parts. No, a body and a soul, but it's actually consistent of three: the body, soul, and the mind. Yes, that's fucking called the spirit in the manga. Okay, so that's from the manga. Awesome, sweet, cool. In the scene where Ed opens the gate to escape gluttony, he thinks to himself, the body and soul are connected by the mind. A piece of my body, referring to his arm and leg, is in front of the gate of the truth. All I need to do is follow my mind. So while Al's body is in front of the gate and his soul is in the armor, they are connected via his mind. I like that. I missed that. Thank you. That's awesome. Still doesn't fucking explain why truth doesn't wear Al's body. PayPal. What's up with PayPal? What? Oh, snap. I got a couple of things here. I'm so sorry. I did not see that. All right. From the Ultimate Kahuna for $3. Great show, man. Thanks for putting out great content on a day that was meant as a day off. If you or anyone else wants to catch it, me and the boys on the Iron Seas podcast will be discussing Ghost of the Badlands in less than an hour. Ooh, there you go. Atta boy. You better get ready for that stream, dude. Okay, thank you so much for the $3, dude. I appreciate it. Starting to think the author thought if Alphonse was just a meat suit, the boys would probably abandon their quest, because why would they trying to get rid of this? I don't know, Liu. It's weird. It makes no sense. Truth never wears Al's body. Every time you see his body in Truth's plane, it's Al's mind controlling Al's body. Why? I know this. I'm going to have... Man, people had some long comments on this one. I'm going to have to go... I think the Truth intentionally displayed the prices Ed and Al paid in the most fittingly to him. Painfully way possible. Okay, maybe. The Truth put in emaciated version of his little brother in front of him to torture him with guilt and say, haha, your brother suffers because of you. And Truth wore Al's... and had Truth worn Al's body, it wouldn't work. because truth can't help acting smug and all happy all the time. Yeah, but that would have made it even worse. He'd have been like, stop talking like that. My little brother never would have talked like that. Don't you like, yeah. I think he wore Ed's limbs because one, an arm and a leg laying on the floor just doesn't, on the floor is just not very dramatic. And two, wearing limbs rubs in the face of the fact that limbs aren't his anymore and are now possessed by someone he hates. I think these situations fall outside rules of alchemy, as there's no exchange going on, just like Ed is basically as kind and good as he can be while following the principles of equivalent exchange. Truth is opposite. Truth is a cruel god. He follows the rules, but he enjoys the suffering he causes when he enforces them. Oh, interesting. So maybe he's just really irritated with people who are trying to use that power, right? Maybe God's like, yeah, alchemy is not for the humans. You shouldn't be. I like your take. I'll heart that one too. My assumption was that Al's soul is piloting the suit of armor like a UAV, with the blood seal as the connection. Yes. So whenever we see Al's body on the other side, we're seeing Al's actual body, but it behaved like Al because it is in fact Al. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I said thank you to everybody. Legni, I don't know how to say it, underground. I love this show, but there's another example of an unclear thing. To sum up, sons and daughters of the emperor are each against the other. Okay, yeah, this one, I think I read this one too. Against the others, trying to find ways to please him and be designated as his successor in order to bring wellness to their own clan. Ling and May decided to try to please him by bringing him the legendary Philosopher's Stone or some other means of immortality. Fun thing is that how do they plan to become the next emperor in case their current one becomes immortal? I thought they were trying to become immortal so that way they could say that they were the ones that were rightful to rule. I don't know. Neither of these were plot holes. In alchemy, truth god is just an allegory for your own self-enlightenment, which is shared in the metaphor of the Philosopher's Stone. I did. Because the answer to every question is finish watching the whole series. So this guy here says, so half the video is nonsense because you didn't finish watching it. Yeah, and the other half is because you didn't read the manga and ignored everyone telling you Brotherhood skips some of the first parts. I would honestly just taking this video down. I did watch all of Brotherhood. Okay, yeah, this person's a dumbass. I did watch all of Brotherhood. What are you talking about? I said I missed the end credits montage. Okay, yeah, this person's retarded. All right, holy crap. Okay, we've only got a few more to go. All right, unpopular opinion coming. I think the armor Alphonse, legendary sword, crooked, a sin. Yeah, stop with the sword thing. You guys are weird. Unpopular opinion coming. I think the armor Alphonse. Wait, Sassy had to step away unexpectedly. You're fine. I think the armor Alphonse was either a
sliver of his actual soul or just an imprint or Ed's memory of Al. No, they already dispelled that in the show. It can't be a memory of, or an Ed's memory of him. It can't be. Apothecary Diaries. That's one. I've heard that show is really good. I have heard that that is one of the best shows if you don't like filler anything. It just straight to the fucking point. So, Apothecary Diaries. You know what? Is it on Crunchyroll? Because that's a thing. It is very warm in this room right now. It is very, very warm in this room right now. Oh, dear God. What the fuck? All right, let's search it. There it is, The Apothecary Diaries. It's got one season. Is there more than one season? Is there not more than one season? It might be. It's funny, clever. Is there fighting in it? Because if there's no fighting in it, I don't want to watch it. The Butcher briefly talks about how an alchemist could animate armor or make it believe it's a real person when it's not. Yes, but that was already dispelled. Now this is used just as an instance to make Alphonse doubt himself. But I always thought there was a nugget of truth there. Alphonse in the armor ends up sacrificing himself to give his arm and leg back, but then they still retrieve Al from the gate of truth. My hypothesis is that the sliver of Al's soul or the memories of Edward that animated the armor died here and is gone for good. The Alphonse they end up bringing back is the real Al who's been trapped at the gate the entire time. If I remember correctly, when they do bring Al back, he doesn't remember much of their travels while he was in the armor, and that's because it was never him. I didn't get that. Did anybody else get that? Because it was never him, and it was always some kind of copy or fake who stuck besides Ed until the very moment he could sacrifice himself in order to give Edward a fighting chance. Yeah, that was really cool. I actually like how they did that. That was really cool. I was like, that's right, equivalent exchange. Well, if he gave this up to get me back, what if I give up me for him to get his arm back? And I was like, that, you know what? That was cool. That's why the show is definitely an 8 out of 10. Like, the show is really fucking good, right? And that's eerily similar to how the Butcher mentioned Al could just be a tool, and Ed's only pretending to be his brother. So one day Al will lay down his life for Ed. No, I think everything has been thoroughly disproven in the show on that one. I mean, fun to think about, but I think that's just a fan theory. Excuse me for the OT. Am I the only one that since 8 days around August 20th, YouTube doesn't notify anymore about replies, mentions, and hearts? Not only notifications don't show up on Android panel, but the opposite. Section of the YouTube app, bell icon. The last records are from 8 days ago, while there should have been more recent stuff listed. I have no idea. This is the Redditor that thinks he's an intellectual questioning everything, but everything is laid out at an elementary level. No, it's fucking not. And I can solidly fucking disprove this. I'm going to do a video on this. See, it's people like this that like... Igor Chocolate, in your defense, I did skip every credit scene other than the last episode, sometimes missing important scenes due to that. Do you guys watch the credit scenes at the end of the fucking show? I don't. I hit that annoying-ass Japanese anime music, and I just go, skip. I can't. Oh, God, I don't. It's all about conspiracies and upper society plotting. No fighting at all. Maybe I'll watch it. What is an apothecary, actually? Because I know an apothecary is something, but I don't I've heard it before, but I don't remember the definition. Do you guys remember the definition? I don't remember the definition. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the stuff. Yeah, I'm going to do that video. Oh, also, Hideaki Itsuno. Is that how you say it? Hideaki. Anyway, Itsuno, the guy who's basically been in charge of Devil May Cry, did Dragon's Dogma? Yes, 1 and 2. Left Capcom after 30 years. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm also going to talk about the absolute massacre that they're going to do. Even worse. to Devil May Cry, or maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. There are rumors that they're going to do a Devil May Cry 6, and I think they should not because they've solidly destroyed Dante. That's my next video, guys. It's going to be a fun time. Oh, it's going to be so good. You don't even know. It's so good, chat. It's the healer from 40K, I think. Wait, what? An apothecary. It's a drug maker. Oh. Interesting. I did not know this. Did you know this? Well, obviously. I did not know this. Oh, good Lord. I have videos to make today. It's late in the day already. It's 1 o'clock. Dear God. Where did the time go? Where does the time go, chat? Thank you guys so much for hanging out and listening to my rantings. And again, I'm starting to wonder if it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Have a good one, DCC. Thanks for being here. Sassy77. It's awesome to see everybody. I gotta get to work on some videos today. Nose to the grindstone, ladies and gentlemen. I need to eat food, though. Maybe I should do that. Food would probably be a good thing. My wife made some really baller quesadillas yesterday. I wonder if we have any leftover. Gotta eat that leftovers, guys. Always, thank you all so much for tuning in to Drinking Crazy. I will see you all next time. Cheers, everybody.